this is code.org, and this is the best thing you've ever seen. Okay, but it's close, right? It's Blackjack, and it's made in App Lab. It is awesome. Let me first show you what the game does, and then I'm going to walk you through how to make and build your own awesome Blackjack or heck, poker game maybe? I don't know. Let's see what it does though. I'm going to hit run, and then this is the open screen, so play. Ta-da! And here we are. I was dealt a 8 of clubs. Wow. 8 of clubs and a 7 of spades. Let me go ahead. That leaves me at 15, so I'm going to ask for another card. Ooh, I'm at 20, so I'm going to stay there. I'm actually going to bet a bit now. So I start off with 5,000. I don't know. I'm going to bet 300, and let's hit end. Up. Okay, so here is, I lost. Here's the dealer's hand. Oh, the dealer had 21. So 8 and 7 and 6, right? And that's the dealer's hand. I can look at my hand again right here, or I can see the dealer's, right? So let's give it another shot. I want another round. Deal. And, oh my gosh, I'm at 7. Ooh. 2. Boom. And I am limited to 4 cards here. So I'm not going to bet anything. I'm just, well, here, let's see if we lose. End. Oh, well, I already lost. I shouldn't have done that anyways. But, ta-da! And there's the dealer again. So, let's explore the code that is making this. I'm just going to shrink that. Let's hit reset here. And let me show you how I made this. So, to start us off, these are global variables. Now, what are global variables? Global variables are variables that everything else can see. So all of the code, every function here can use, edit, and mess with these, which is good. We need them to be able to do that. So what did I need as a global variable for this? I used players' hands, okay, because I didn't want to use as many arguments or parameters. Well, anyways, I use player's hands for global variables and dealer's hand. So that's just what is in your hand currently. What does it equal? Then I have player's cards, and this is just an array or a list of the cards in their hand, and dealer's cards. And that's so I can say, look at the dealer's cards, look at your cards. Then I kept track of the colors for their cards, and the dealer's cards and the player's cards. And then how much money they have, and how much they have bet this round. So, first things first, when you click play, what happens? Well, on the event that someone clicks the play button, this function runs. Okay, well, what does that function do? It asks deal cards to run. Deal cards is another function. So now the computer's like, oh, okay, well, they click play. What am I doing? Ah, here it is. And you can see it's kind of straight down procedural stuff. Deal cards. Oh, okay, I need to do this. And it drops down. And I tried to leave instructions kind of deals out players and dealers cards. You can't see the dealer's hand, but it is calculated. So while it's dealing, we didn't see the dealer's hands, but it does calculate it. So I reset bet to 0 in case this isn't our first hand. And then I make sure dealer's cards array, that list is empty, this list is empty, the colors lists are empty, and all of our hands are set equal to 0. Then set property dealer's label. Let's go to the game screen. Dealer's label hide. This is the dealer's label, and that's their score. So I want to hide that. I don't want the player to be able to see that. Otherwise, you'll know exactly what the dealer has. And because these buttons switch, right? When I hit run, play, hit, once I hit end, dealer, player, dealer, and then I can hit deal, and it switches back to being bet and end. Okay? So what do these do? Set property. Oh, central label is this one right here. Bet button, right? Set property bet button to bet again instead of being player, because right now it's player. And so we're setting these back. Set this button to end again, the dealer button or the end button back to dealer. And then hide cards 3 and 4, because those are only going to be shown if we use the hit button. Get card 1, get card 2 for player. Oh, look, these are greens. These are functions. Okay? So what do those do? Oh, well, here we are. Get card, card person. So what did I have to tell it here? I had to tell it which card I wanted, and if you hover, switch to game. If you hover here, card 1. So what card do I want? I want card 1, and I tell it, I just use the word player, and you'll see why I do that. So get card. Get card, card, and person. So the value and the suit right now is equal to nothing. Card color is equal to blue. This was for kind of debugging to make sure it's all working. Card list. Here's all the cards. 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then a jack is worth 10, a queen is worth 10, and a king is worth 10. Now these suits, these are cool little characters called alt keys, A-L-T. You can look them up if you want, but it's how I got my suits here. And so this is just a string array too, variable suits, and it's a list of each of the suit symbols. And then variable random number 1 equals random number 1 card list dot length minus 1. Okay, so I start at 0, and then what's card list? Oh, that's this. What's dot length? Oh, that's the length of this. Well, how many things are there? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 things there, right? And we tell it minus 1 because there might be 12 things in this list, or maybe there's 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 in this array, in this list, but there's only indexes from 0 to 3 because we start counting at 1. But an index, the heart, it is at index 0, the diamond is at index 1, the spade is at index 2, and the club is at index, the club is at index 2, the spade, yikes, is at index 3, okay? There's no index 4 because we start counting at 0. So we want the length of it. When we get the length of suits, it will give us 4. And we want a minus 1 because we want 0 to 3. 0 to 3 are the indexes. So now that we got that, variable card value, card list, random number 1. So hey, whatever random number 1 was, maybe a 3, get that from the card list. Okay, well, if this was a 3, 0, because remember, we started at 0, 1, 2, 3. So that would be a 5. Okay, so now the card value is going to be a 5. If card value greater than 8. So if it is greater than so if it's greater than 8, which is, oh, that's funny. No. We want to know if it's greater than, if it's greater than 9. We don't need 8. If it's greater than 9, right? So if the card value is greater than 9, then we want to know if the random number going to be equal to 11? Is random number equal to 10? Or is random number equal to 9? Because again, 11 would be actually a king, 10 would actually be a queen, and 9 would actually be a jack. So we're getting the value. If that value is 10 or above, we want to make sure that the random number's position is correct. And so if random number is equal to 11, we actually set card value just to be a K, or Q if it's equal to 10, so on and so forth. Now, change the card color depending on the suit. Greater than 2 is only the club and the spade. So, if greater than 2, number 2, if it's greater than 1, yeah, okay. So, if it's greater than 1, and I should change this right now, if it's greater, so is random number 2 greater than 1? Because if it is, what's greater than 1? Well, 2 and 3. If it's less than 1, it is, if it's not greater than 1, it is 0 and 1, right? But if it's greater than 1, 1 is not greater than 1. 1 is 1. So if it's greater than 1, it must be 2 or 3. And if it's not greater than 1, it must be 0 or 1. So if it's greater than 1, it would be this suit or that suit, and that's gray. So if random number 2, which is what we're using for the suits, is greater than 2, we're going to get the card color and set it, this is a gray color. Else, it must be one of those 0 or 1 suits, which is a red color that we're going to set it to. Now we're going to combine value and suit. So the card value, which we got from our card list random number, or we turned into a K or Q, plus the suit's random number. So we're grabbing our suits list, putting the random number 2 into suits, and grabbing a suit, and combining those together into a single like string. Now, set property card text value suit. Which card? Well, that's the card I asked it originally. So I originally asked it for card 1, and then for who? Player. So set property card text value, value and suit. That's what we just made here with the card value and the suit of the card. And now set property card background color is going to be equal to card color, and that's what we picked up here using the suit information, the random number 2, which determined the suit. If person, so if person is this one, so who was this for? It was originally for player. So if it's player, what do? I append to our array, which is our list. I add to the player's cards, which is a list at the top, the value and suit, right? So I add on to that list, and that we're going to save for later if we want to look back on our cards. I then take player's hand is going to be equal to player's hand plus card list random number. Card list random number is these values, right? Card list and that random number. So player's hand is how many points we have right now. So we're going to set it equal to what it used to be equal to plus our new card. And that will stay throughout the game because it's at the top. I don't write over it. I say make it player's hand what it used to be equal to plus player's hand. Then I append the item player's colors, card color to, I append card color to the player's colors list because we have 2 lists going. One list is going to have the player's cards in it, right? So it would have a 10 of hearts and a king of clubs in it. And then it would have the colors. And so the colors it would have for those is red, because I said 10 of hearts first, and then gray, because I said king of clubs. And I want to point out, we're not going to show the dealer's information until the end, but when we do the dealer's cards, we are storing all, just like I did for the player. Here are the dealer's hands points, here's the dealer's cards, and here's the colors. So you don't see it till the end, but we're saving it all. All right, so we grab those 2 cards using this. Player's hand equals check over 21. So, hey, is the player's hand over 21? That just runs check over 21, which is down here somewhere. It's a short function. Check over 21. What do we do here? We see if current score is over 21, we're going to set the property person score to the text over, right? I put my name in here, but to over, because we want them to know that that round is, well, over. And then we return the current score. So we return that value. Okay, and then we know that the player's hand equals 0. Is that what was happening there? Yep, we set current score then equal to 0, and we return current score. Exactly is what we do, is what we're doing. Okay, and so now we set their score equal to 0 because they went over 21. Now we are going to set this player's hand, player score text player's hand. So we'll update the whole player score after that. Then we're going to get the dealer's cards, which I call 2, 3, and 4. 3 and 4 are actually the cards we use as well. We use when we hit. But the reason I did it at the start for the dealer is because we're not going to even see them at the start, and we hit, they change anyways. So the dealer just uses those cards at first. Then we do check if the dealer's score, set property to the dealer's score, but it's still hidden. So we're still adding to the dealer's score. Dealer's hand equals check over 21. Here's a special function, dealer hit. So what this does down here is dealer hit. It's going to keep running while the dealer's hand is less than 16 and so is it less than 16? Is it worth less than 16? And the dealer has less than this is less than 4, but that's 0, 1, 2, 3 on an index, because dealer cards dot length, dealer cards is an array, and so are there less than 4 indexes? Well, that would mean there would be 4 items, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So as long as he doesn't have 3 cards yet and the score is not 16, the dealer will automatically keep getting a card. Okay? Now, let's run through quick what some of these other things are. That is this one. Then it's that screen, game screen, so the user can see all the cards that we just dealt out. When they click deal again, we're first going to check because deal is deal, but it's also hit. So if property deal button, which is this button, if that get property deal button text, if that text is equal to deal, we run the deal cards function. Otherwise, we just run hit. And all hit does is this. Hit just says, hey, does player's hand equal 0? Because that means they hit 21. They went over 21, so they lost. So we double check they're not trying to get a card after they lost. We then get property card 3 hidden. So if it's hidden, if that's true, get property, because that means they haven't used it yet. So what that will return, say if it's false, that card's already there, and we would just drop down, skip this code, and check on card 4. If it's true, the computer comes back and says, get property card 3 hidden. True, yeah, card 3 is hidden. We would then drop down, get card 3 player, okay, get card 3 player. So we do what we did up here, where we go through assigning the card a value and all that. And then we set the property for card 3 hidden to be false. False, no longer hidden. Then we would skip this else because this part of the statement was already run. If we say get property card 3 hidden and the computer says false, card 3 is not hidden, oh, well then we would skip this code and we would check if card 4 was hidden. If card 4 was hidden, we'd skip this code. If it wasn't, we could run it. Then we're going to set property player score text player's hand. So we're going to set the player score up again, see if any changes, and see if we hit 21, if we went over 21. Okay, and so that's what hit will do. Now bet, what does, well, let's actually see what's next in our list here. End button, end. So when the end button is clicked, we have 2 options. If it's equal to the end button, we're trying to end the hand. If it's not equal to the end button, we're trying to see the dealer's cards maybe, right? So we're going to double check here. We'll double check. So if the end button, right, if that button is actually equal to end, then end hand, which stops points from being done and distributes. Actually, we'll show you end hand first. So let me go find that function. What's end hand do? Well, first, I create this variable amount. I check if those global variables at the top of the program, is player's hands greater than dealer's hand? If so, if the player's hand is greater than the dealer's hand, we won. And we know that because if they went over 21, we set their score to 0. So if bet does not equal 0, bet equals bet times 2. So if player's hand is greater than the dealer's hand and we won, we're going to take bet, as long as it's not 0, and multiply it by 2. We then take our variable amount here, and we make amount equal to space $ plus bet, because we're going to print out to the screen here what they won, right? So oh, well, it would look like that if I could ever win. Right here. So, and there's a space, notice, between that T and stuff. So then, set property, central text, U1, and the amount. We get their hand, hands count. Oh, and we'll update this. So if you win, we'll update the win count there as well. And that's a variable at the top. Hands counts at the top as well. Money equals money plus bet. So we would want to add that to this. Or else if player's hand is less, which just happened to be, bet does not equal 0, well then we want that amount string to be equal to a $ just plus the bet, right? We're not going to multiply it by 2 this time, because you don't lose 2 times you bet, you just lose what you bet. And so we're going to lose that. We're going to set amount equal to that, and then we're going to print out, set the label text, you lost blank amount, so we know. Else, so if bet was equal, oh, no, amount equals nothing. Oh, else, so if your score is not greater, and if my score wasn't less than the dealer, then we tied, and so what would I do? I would set the label to you tied, and make sure that my money is still equal to my money. I didn't subtract from my money here because we actually subtract from the money when you bet, so it shows up at there. But I do add to it when you win. We then reset all the properties. Dealer label to be hidden, right? Money to be updated. Central label to be updated, to be hidden. Deal button to go back to deal, player, dealer, right? And then we do show cards, dealer cards. And so automatically when you hit end, we also update and show you the dealer's cards. But you can also still look at your cards because we give you that option too. So the end button there becomes the dealer button. So that's why we're checking if it's actually the text is actually the end button, because if it's not, we're just going to do the show cards function, which shows you the dealer's cards this time, dealer's cards, dealer's colors. It could also show you the users. So to show you the cards, end of hand, dealer hit, show cards. Set property card 1, text. We are using the card lists we made, right? Because when we kept adding cards, we made those 2 arrays. The arrays had, like, one array has a 4 of spades and a jack of diamonds and the number 4 and heart in it. Okay, and then the other one just has gray, red, and red. And so we take card 1 and we would set it equal using the cards list. And what cards list? Whatever card we're using, whatever person we're using at the time, whether it's the dealer's cards or the player's cards. In this example, show cards, player's cards, for instance, or up here, it was show cards, dealer's cards. And we're going through and using we're looping through. So card list 0, which is the first one in the cards list that we made, would be 4 of spades. So we're going to set card 1 to be a 4 of spades because that was what was in our list. We then set card 2 as well because we know they got at least 2 cards, so the list has at least 2 cards in it. And we grab those 2 card colors, set property card 1, set property card 2, text, background color. Then we check. If the list has more than 2 items, then we set a 3rd item up. And the 3rd item is at the second index because index 0 is the first item, index 1 is the second item, index 2 is the third. And then if there's a 4th card, we make that visible as well. And so that's how I'm switching back and forth and seeing everyone's cards. And let's see. In button, yep, click bet. Now, how does bet work? Bet actually is pretty simple. It's not even running really many functions in here. What it's doing is if get property bet button text equals bet. So if this button down here currently says bet, if player's hand is not 0, right? So if they haven't gone over 21, if the hand is still going. If dealer's button text equals hit, so if deal button equals hit, meaning is the round still going on? Did they try to end the round? Are they trying to cheat is what I'm doing here. As long as that's true and that's true and that's true, then we're going to let them bet. So bet's going to equal to be bet plus 100. And then money is going to be equal to money minus that 100. So we're going to take it out of here and let them bet that amount. Set the property money text, set text bet on the screen. So the central text so you know how much you're betting. And then set center label hidden. Oh, that makes the center label no longer hidden, so you can see this text again. Else, if property bet button text equals player, so that would mean the round's already been ended and they're trying to. Else if. Oh, that means that they're not trying to actually bet. So if it doesn't equal hit, they must just be trying to see the player's cards. So we check if it still equals hit, and if not, so nope, it's not hit, we don't run that code. And then if it equals player, then we're going to do show cards and do that show cards for the player. So that's kind of a quick rundown of the code. It sounds complicated, more so than it is. What I'm really excited about it is how much you can build off of this. I'd love to see some great projects. I'd love for you to make this better, for you to remix it. I'm going to post it all in the description. Code, the game, links, all of that stuff. And you should definitely check it out, build something super awesome, and then post your own version of it. I'm going to hit play and play a few more rounds. You have fun coding and all that. Ta-da!